Welcome to Rayat Online School Education 2021-22 Sadhguru Garge Maharaj College, Karat. Guidance by Principal Dr. Mohan Rajmane Sir. Standard 11. Subject Bookkeeping and Accountancy. Myself, Patel Madam from SGM College, Karat. Today we are going to start with a new chapter number 4 in Bookkeeping and Accountancy, that is Ledger. So the last lecture was about the journalizing of the transaction. That means the last chapter was about the journal, and in that we already have been studied how to draw the journal, how to pass the necessary journal entries in the books of accounts. Today we are going to start with a new chapter number 4 in bookkeeping accountancy, that is ledger. Let's start with our first point, introduction. In the process of accounting, all the business transactions are recorded in chronological order in journal. That means you all know very well that when you do the process of accounting, at that time all the transactions are recorded in chronological order in journal. These transactions are always recorded in the proper books of accounts. And you know very well that these transactions, whichever are recorded in the proper books of accounts, and these books of accounts can be grouped as follows. You can see a diagram in front of you that books of accounts are divided into two parts. The first part is journal or subsidiary books, which is also said as the books of original or prime entry. And the second one is ledger, which is the book of final, as well as it is also said secondary entry. That means journal, the last chapter was about the primary entry, the books of original entry, and the second chapter, which is this point, which is the chapter number 4, is about the ledger, which is the books of final as well as secondary entry. So two books of accounts, which is you can see in the books of accounts are there in the diagram. The first is journal, which is or subsidiary books, which is said as the book of original entry, because you know whenever the transactions are there, the transactions are first recorded proper chronological order in the journal, and from journal it will be posted to the ledger. That's why ledger is said as the final or secondary entry. Afterwards we will see about the meaning, that means the information about the ledger. We are aware that all types of business transactions are recorded in journal. Yes or no? All the types of business transactions are recorded in the journal. Example, if the transaction is related to asset, liabilities, expenses, income, cash or credit, etc. At the end of the particular period, if you want to know what is the total amount that you spend on a particular type of expense, or what is the amount payable to a particular person or a party. Now these type of questions cannot be answered easily through the journal. That means after journalizing the entry of a particular transaction, you do not come to know the total amount spent or particular expenses or how much you are payable to a person or a party. So these are some limitations which comes in the journal. So to overcome these limitations of a journal, we need ledger. So ledger is called as a main books of accounts. What is ledger? It is said as a main books of account. Because once the transactions are recorded in journal or in subsidiary books, the next stage is what? The next stage is to transfer those transactions in their respective accounts, which is opened in the ledger. So always remember, there are some limitation in the journal. That means detail about any transaction, about any asset or expenses or payable to other party, you don't come to know. These are the limitation. So to overcome these limitation, we need to draft a ledger. So ledger is the main books of account, because once the transactions are recorded in the journal, the next stage is ledger only. In the ledger, what you do? In the ledger, you transfer all those transactions which you wrote in a journal in the respective account which is opened in the ledger. So let's start with the meaning and the importance of a ledger. First is the meaning and definition, which you can see in front of you. So a ledger is the principal books of account. What is ledger? It is also said as main books of account. It is the principal. You know, the principal means very important, main. It is also called as book of final entry. The book of final entry. Journal is also the book of original entry. You can say prime entry. And here, ledger is the book of final entry. It is summarized record which contains all the account. What is ledger? Ledger is a summarized record which contains all the account. Example, assets account, liabilities account, capital account, revenues account, expenses account. So remember always, ledger is a what? Principal books of account. It is also called as book of final entry, and it is summarized record which contains all the account. Examples which I say right now: asset account, liabilities account, capital account, revenues account, expenses account. Next is the definition which is put forth by S.P. Jain, K.L. Narang in the books of advanced accountancy. This is the definition. This is the definition said as a ledger account may be defined as a summary. What is a ledger account? It gives you a summary. It is a statement of all the transactions relating to a person, asset, expenses, or income which have taken place during a given period of a time and shows their net effect. What it shows? Net effect. So always remember, a ledger is defined as a summary. It is a statement of all the transactions relating to the person, asset, expenses, income, and also which have taken place in a given period of a time and shows their net effect. That was the meaning and definition of ledger. Further is the importance of ledger. What importance, what role a ledger is playing, we will see in the further points. The first is, it is a summarized record of all the transactions. Okay, what is a ledger? Ledger is a principal books of account. It is a main books of account. It gives you the statement about all the journalizing of the transaction when you get into detail of it. So a ledger is a summarized record of all the transaction in the form of assets account. It can be asset account, it can be a liability account, expenses account, incomes account, etc. The ultimate objective of bookkeeping is to ascertain with the least trouble what is the amount owed to the supplier, what is the amount receivable from the customer, and so on. So in the process of posting, information collected is condensed in form of debtors account, creditors account to get the ready result. Means what I'll tell you, when you draw a ledger, that means when you draw the respective ledger accounts related to asset, liability, expenses, income, etc. At that time, it will give you less trouble, and you will come to know all the part like amount, what is the amount owed to the supplier, how much it is receivable, and you are going to do all the process of posting over here. Okay, actually in the in the journal. Actually, in the journal, what you do, in the journal, you journalize the transaction. When you journalize the transaction, from that, the next point is to do the posting of the ledger. Okay, so this is the process of posting the information which is collected in the condensed form. It can be a debtor, creditor. Why? To get the ready results. Number 3, it is necessary for preparation of trial balance. So always remember, from journal you draft, on the basis of journal you draft ledger. On the basis of ledger you draft trial balance, and on the basis of trial balance you draft final account. Remember this. So it is very necessary for the preparation of trial balance. Number 4 is the financial position of a business can be easily known with the help of various types of assets and liabilities account. So, as you know, you want to know in the business the exact financial position. And how you're going to come to know the exact financial position? When you open assets account as well as you open liabilities account. So the financial position of the business, you know very easily, which is very important for a businessman, which helps you to know various types of assets account and liabilities account. Number 5, it is possible to prepare various type of income statements, and on the basis of the balances which is shown by the different ledger account. So, of course, ledger account shows the various type of the balance, and with that you come to know about the income statement also. Next is ledger can be used as a control tool as it shows account of various expenses with the balance. Of course, yes, with the help of ledger which can be used as a control tool also, because it shows the accounts of the various expenses with the balance. Next is, on the basis of the result shown in the ledger, it is useful for the management to forecast or plan the future plan of action. In the management, as you know very well, management is futuristic in nature. You have to prepare all the future plan of action, what to do into the business. So with the help of ledger, it will be very useful for the management to forecast the plan, future plan of action. What to do, when to do, how to do, where to do. All these queries answer you're going to get just with the help of proper future plan. Got it, everyone? That was the importance of ledger. Afterward, the next point is about the specimen of ledger. Next is what? Specimen of ledger. So you can see in front of you 2 types of formats are there of ledger. The specimen of ledger in T form is given below. First, the specimen which is given in front of you is in the T form. Okay, that is said as a T form. First, of course, the title is very important. You will write a title in the books of dash, whosoever the books firm is there. Then you will write the name of the account over here. Any account name which you want to open related to asset account, liability account, incomes, expenses, etc. Okay, so the name of the account will be wrote over here. Example, if you want to open a cash account, so you will write cash account over there. Then you will open it. First, you can see on the left hand side. On the left hand side is what? Of course, you know the left hand side is debit. The right hand side is credit. An account is divided into 2 parts. You all know very well, yes or no? Date particular JF amount, that will be your debit side. Then the credit side will be again date particulars JF amount. Got it, everyone? Okay. So that is the T form of an account, which is, you can see in front of you, which is divided into 2 parts, debit, credit. Debit side as date particular JF amount, credit side as date particular JF amount. Now the second format is said as a statement form of an account, which you can see in front of you, date particulars JF, then is debit amount, then is credit amount, then is balance, then is initial, and then is remark. Okay, so 2 types of ledger format is given to you. You can use the first one, which is very preferable, very easier, and people usually prefer the T format, which is date particular JF amount on the debit side, date particular JF amount on the credit side. Got it, everyone? Yes or no? In this way, today I started with a new chapter, number 4, ledger. Ledger is very important. It is said as a main books of account. It is also said as principal books of account. Okay, how you are going to draft a ledger? With the help of journal, you can draft a ledger. That means a journal need the base of the transaction. That means the journal entry. So journal need what? The base of journal entry. So with the help of journal entry, you will come to know which type of account to be prepared in a ledger. So ledger is very important. On the basis of journal, always ledger posting is done. For ledger, you have to open the various types of specific account. Okay, over here, which you have seen in the first format of an ledger. So we have seen the meaning, then we have seen the definition, then we have seen the importance of a ledger. Okay, enough for today. Thank you very much.